could make a video with that soundtrack, and that'd be pretty fucking cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's saying we're live at my end, just to let you know. You're putting me on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Sorry,
hear you.
bro. But we're not going out. Oh, yeah, we are. We're going.
Yeah, but he's saying for 1 minute 40, and it's not been 1 minute 40 already. But anyway, that'll be interesting to listen to.
I think we're in. So hang on, I'll mute us both, and I'll play the intro. Okay, this is so smooth, right? I'll mute us, but then we can't communicate with each other. Must be a better way.
Yeah.
30 seconds. I'll play the intro, and then I will mute us in 30 seconds. Okay?
Yeah, no worries.
All right. Okay. All right. Welcome to Truth Shot. Are you there, Mr.
I am
Shot?
here. Yeah, Future Shock, Rob. Future Shock. Yeah, how you doing?
So it's good. It's TS and FS, and we're avoiding the BS, right? So it's all about the S's.
For sure, 100%.
The shit, but we got the shock, but we're avoiding the shit. So how you doing?
I'm pretty decent. How's the Mr. President? So I've never heard of Mr. President before.
Well, that's it. It's what I'm drinking right now. It's a BrewDog beer, and if I didn't know better, I think it's been produced in honor of who some people refer to as God Emperor Mr. Trump. But
is it a recent one?
Right?
Is it a recently released sort of new edition beer?
Yeah, I've not seen it before. It's Mr. President, and it's a double IPA, and it's really strong. It's 9.2% by volume.
Okay.
But what sort of makes me raise an eyebrow is that underneath it says Defiant double IPA.
Say that again. Sorry. So what did you say? Sorry.
Defiant double IPA. Defiant.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it now. Actually, on the.
Have you found it?
I've just found it on the old Google image. Yeah, Defiant double IPA. Yeah, yes, it's most definitely a tribute, isn't it?
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. It says bitter mango apricot. So are you getting like fruity apricotty mango flavors?
It just tastes like IPA. It just tastes like American IPA. They all taste. Why don't they just say it tastes like an American New England IPA, and they all taste. Yeah, that's slightly bitter.
Your mic is a bit low.
Yeah, are you picking me up? You got me?
You pick up all right. Just as you were explaining that, the volume was kind of going a bit up and down.
I think I was waving my arms, and I caused a little disturbance in the force by waving my arms around. So yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? How all these companies are getting on side and supporting Mr. Trump, even our own Scottish BrewDog.
Yeah, look, I mean, and I'm just checking it out as well. It says 1 can is £5. Is that you get 4?
Yeah, I just paid £5 for it, mate. Yeah.
So you get 4 for 18. So gone are the days of going down like DLF and getting like 6 for 5 back in the day. You go and get your 6 for 5 Stella or something. You're now getting 4 for 18, but it is 9.2% to be fair. So that's pretty.
Wow. I don't see the wine scholars on the park paying for this, though. You, I mean, it does have that kind of. It has that kind of
Where did you get it
feel
from?
of just had approval with the high ABV for 25 quid. Do you know what I mean? Got it
So
from
did you?
Tesco.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, this is not some kind of highfalutin wine shop, but yeah, it's all right. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? I mean, how this it's weird. The first time Trump the whole world was against it, right? The media, the American establishment, Hollywood. But now they're all clicking their heels and jumping into line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just again, the volume was just a little bit. It was a little bit hard to hear. Sorry, in little parts of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch all of that. Sorry. I mean, what you're talking about, like people sort of companies jumping on the bandwagon now. Now they see that there's a bit of force behind it. So I think that before the election, it was kind of like people didn't maybe realize the what the force that was going to happen, and like now he's got in and things are happening. Certain companies must be thinking, maybe we should acquiesce. Maybe they should acquiesce. Who knows though? Maybe the guy who owns Brewdog just loves Trump and always wanted to bring out a Trump dedication beer. So fair enough, if that's the case. Wasn't he the guy that was getting in a lot of trouble recently? Didn't he say some? What was he saying recently? He got I'm sure it was the owner of Brewdog got in trouble recently for something. It was like,
No, I'm not sure. I can just obviously Google it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I'm just looking now. I'm sure there was some controversy involving blah blah blah. I don't know what it was. Just he's always had
James
some.
Watt is his name.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, it's something about
There are
the.
a few things going on with him. Yeah. Inappropriate behaviour.
But also there was something a bit more recent than that. I think because he. Oh right, maybe it's because I saw he quit or something, didn't he? I'm sure. Anyway,
But I will say that it's like the case.
see, this audio is perfect. Just to say, this audio is perfect. By the way you are
is it
now.
working now? Yeah. Is it working? No, listen. It might be the case of. Yeah, look at this. I mean, it's all the coming out by his problematic past and all sorts. It's one of those things, isn't it, where they've got to dish the dirt on someone who isn't towing the line. It's as soon as you deviate from the script or you don't do what they tell you to do, then all of the peccadillos and all of the things that you've done, they come out, and it's all by design. So obviously, the most famous recent example is the P Diddy thing, right?
Yeah. You've
So
had P Diddy, the Tates. Who else you got there? Russell Brand. People like this. It's like, yeah, they may have done shady things, but why are you on it now? Why not? Like they've been doing them, like in potentially. I'm not saying that they are or aren't guilty. I'm just saying potentially they've been doing these things for many years. So why now? Why recently? Just because? Oh, coincidentally, quite a lot of these people are speaking out. I don't think it's quite the same with. Was it? I don't know why. Why did Diddy get? I know the Tates and Brand were speaking out, and that's kind of why they got pilloried. But what was Diddy? How did that all kind of come about originally?
No, well, my pet theory is that Diddy refused to be one of these sort of showbiz. Well, I was thinking he refused to be a little showbiz marionette, and he refused to promote the Democrat Party. And I think he was probably given, actually, this is pure supposition, but he was probably given sort of some kind of threat that unless he came out and jumped down for Kamala Harris, something would come out. But I mean, this guy, P. Diddy, clearly wasn't operating on his own. You had all of these Oprah and all of these celebrities attending his parties. So that's what I think. That's how. I mean, that's what they do. That's what they do. They make you do. They tell you what you're going to do, and if you refuse, and suddenly, you end up in prison. The things they've set you up to do, the things that the sort of sword of Damocles they've got hanging over you. That's how they control you, and they threaten. If you don't do what they tell you, the sword drops, and you roll off into prison.
Yeah, and I think I think most well-known celebrities, whether it's movie stars or musicians, whoever it is, have been to these parties, I would just sort of maybe query, like, I don't know if all of them knew exactly what was going on, because I think there was kind of, as I understand it, and look, I haven't, delved so deeply into this so much, but as I understand it, there was kind of like stages to the party. So there's kind of like the start of the party where people would go along and blah, 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 and mingle, and it was kind of like a normal party. Then after a certain time, some people left, some people stayed, and the people who stayed, that's when it got, that's when it gets really freaky. So this is what I've heard, how it goes down. So you can kind of like keep this facade of like, oh yeah, just having these normal parties, but then after a certain time, things change.
I think that's probably about the size of it. Yeah, that's how it works. There's also an element of peer pressure, because I don't think any right-minded person, except for like a minority of true-born people, perverts, like most people aren't like that, right? So it's like they have this entourage of these people around them who are already part of it, and they sort of bring them to the party, and they say, "Oh, it's going to be great fun. We're going to have a great time." Oh, what's going to happen? What are we going to do? Oh, you'll see. It'll be great fun. Yeah, but what's going on now? Come on, just have a good time. Yeah, have a little bump. Still up your nose, and they're in the mood for a pie, and they end up there and they're having a great time, drinking champagne probably, and suddenly like all their mates start disappearing off to this room, and they're like, "Well, where's my mates gone?" And then we got a big sort of dose of FOMO on them, like, what's going on? Where are our mates? And so they investigate and they head off to the red room and they think, what's going on here? Oh, this looks fun. Then before you know it, they've opened the door, they've gone in, and this like little kids jumping up and down, no clothes on. It's like, wow, and then the door's closed down, and they're in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's, and I bet it's used as well as like Epstein's stuff was used. The whole situation with Epstein. It's like they're using it to, compromise people. It's like, well, you can't do this or that or say this or that because, we've got the dirt on you now. We've either got footage or, we know you were there. We can expose you, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, these people, there's a lot of compromisation that's going on. Do you think that Trump and Musk will actually release the Epstein files? Because they don't really, they skirt around it a bit. Like Musk doesn't really tweet that much about it. He tweets he seems to tweet about obviously everything else pretty much under the sun. But the Epstein files thing is something he's not so forthcoming about. So I just wonder, if their names are involved, are they kind of slightly compromised that they can't release the files because everyone's calling for them to do it, but I don't think they will do it. I'd be very surprised.
Trump famously kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, didn't he?
Yeah.
For bad behaviour, whatever that means. Trump had distanced himself from Epstein, and he did actually. I think before his first presidency, I think he was laughing at mocking Bill Clinton, and noting that he's very fond of taking the Epstein. Why am I calling it Epstein? Epstein Express. He'd been on it 43 times apparently.
Yeah.
And Trump was saying, well, I'm not going to do a Trump impersonation. I'll try and do one for next time. But anyway, he sort of said, oh, I think he's going to have some problems because he's been hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein, referring to Bill Clinton. But as for Trump, I think he just loves banging women. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he's into kids. You know what I'm saying? So I think I don't know. I mean, they say that he's got a past with potentially a homosexual past with Crow. Have you not heard of that?
No. What's that one about?
Roy Crone is the sort of mysterious U.S. lawyer who was Donald Trump's mentor, and he was pretty much a sort of predatory sort of he's a predatory homosexual, shall we say? So I was trying to think of a YouTube friendly metaphor for that.
No, that's fine.
Anything I think of was worse than saying I'm sexual. Anyway, but yeah. So anyway, who knows?
Oh,
Roy Crone, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Shadowy sort of Eminence Grise sort of guy, of the 60s. So I mean, do you trust? What do you think of Trump? I mean, what are your impressions so far?
Well, it's just, it's not even been a month, has it? And it feels like we're going through like several different news cycles in every few hours. There's just so much. They come in and they just like took a wrecking ball, or they're trying to take a wrecking ball to everything. And in a lot of cases, it seems uncovering like mad, whether it's actual corruption or money laundering, or whether it's just like seriously terrible spending of money. And I think that at least I think is a definite positive thing that they're doing at the moment, like
The
trying to clean up
diversity and equality thing is
things like that, and the stuff to do with USAID and all the ways that money's been. And of course, the Twitter Muppets will be all about like, they're taking away, they're trying to stop. Look, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, and he's taking away money from starving children and all this kind of nonsense. No, what they're doing is they're looking at elements of the USAID. Like, for example, there's something, I think this is one that's connected to USAID, or this may just be an example of like terrible spending, where there was 40 billion allocated to 8 electric vehicle chargers to create 8 electric vehicle charge points.
How much was that? Did 40, I mishear you?
Yeah.
40, I had to 40 million?
Billion.
No, boy, billion?
Yeah, it's mad. Hang on, let me see. I want to make
incredible.
Sure. It was on
an American billion, which ain't the same as an English billion, is it? You know what I mean? I think an American billion, the standard of a billion now is 1,000 billions, isn't it? Actually, a British billion, a good old British billion. There's got to be a million millions to make a billion, but it'd be.
I'm trying to find the actual kind of story now, because I don't want to like misspeak, but it's something like that, and there's a whole list of these similarly like terrible wastes of taxpayers' money. And the funny thing is, it's like everyone's like, shitting themselves about it, and like everyone on the US political left, anyway, is shitting themselves about it, and like having to go at Musk and blah blah blah. And it's kind of like, well, he's exposing the fact that you guys are basically being scammed, and you're having to go at him for exposing the fact that you've been scammed. Like, make it make sense, man. He's just so desperate to tar and feather him, and to shoot him down at every available opportunity. So he doesn't exactly help himself when he's going on stage and doing odd-looking salutes on stage.
Oh God, yeah, that was hilarious.
It's not helpful.
That was hilarious. That made me smile. I was glee. I was chuckling away for a long time. I'm still chuckling when you mentioned that. Okay, it's hilarious. Okay, I have a little bit of something to say about that. Only in as much as I worked in Turkey, and there is. Listen, what do you tell me what you think it was? What do you?
I mean, it was. So when you're on stage and look, obviously, nobody in this world can convince me that Musk stood there and thought, right, now it's time to do the Nazi.
Good time to be a Nazi, right? Yeah, that's finally they're going to see my true colors. No, that's bullshit. That's too much.
Yeah, when you're on stage,
they'd love it to be, right? But the Democrats,
you've got to look at it from the perspective of. Sorry, I was just going to say, you got to look at it from the perspective of being on a stage. And this is why you've got so many clips that people have put up about of like the likes of Kamala Harris and AOC and all them doing the same kind of things. It's because when you're on stage, arms wave around and there's a crowd there, so you kind of put your arm out to the crowd, and it's just a thing that now obviously the way he did it the way he did it wasn't great, but I do believe
he did it a few times. He did it twice, right?
Yeah, he did it a couple of times, and
it wasn't an unconscious. Some people are saying it was an unconscious thing, but what I was going to say is, I worked in Turkey, and Turkish and I talked to them, and they got this thing that they thump their chest, right, with a fist. They go bang for like, and they put out their right hand like a sort of, should we say, Roman salute. But it's not. It isn't. It's just a sort of. It's like a symbol of amity and friendship, right? And it's not just some kind of weird right wing Austrian painter thing, and it goes back to English. But the Turks also do that. They have this. They touch their heart, right, or they thump their chest, and they put out their right hand, and that is a thing that Turks do. That I mean, although they were on Germany's side in World War One. So
yeah, I mean, look, there's so many there's so many people and cultures or whatever civilizations that have this as a relatively normal sort of, like you say, show of love and passion or whatever. And that's what I think Musk was doing. He was just like, because he said, oh yeah, you know, I send my heart out to you, and then just kind of like tapped his heart and sort of threw it out. And as he throws his arm out, it looked dodgy. But
it was pretty funny, man. I loved it. I loved it that it wound people up. You know, I loved it.
But this is the thing, like I was saying to you before about Twitter Muppets and stuff, like the amount of people who've they're just pretending for the clout, for the clicks, for the eyes on their channel and their profile and stuff and posts. They're just pretending to believe that he's a Nazi, and now everyone's a Nazi and everyone's a fascist, and anyone who has a political opinion that's different from mine is obviously a Nazi or a fascist. And we're in you know, that time of stupidity has come around again. I mean, all this used to happen when Trump was here before. Now I think it's even stronger in a way because people are pissed off because Kamala Harris was, you know, a strong black woman, as they claim. As I'm saying, as they claim. I would have put that in inverted commas, but yeah. So people feel even more aggrieved that he's sort of like put one over her. So even though she was like completely, as far as I understand it, she's completely. They talk about Musk being an undemocratically elected member of like the government, but Kamala Harris was polling at like 1%. She was like last in the Democratic sort of
leadership
race, wasn't she? Before Biden got it, she was polling at something like 1%, and then suddenly,
it was crazy. Single election or selection, right?
So then she becomes the leader, and it's like that's completely undemocratically elected. And yet here they are going on about Musk. It's like the hypocrisy is crazy.
Oh yeah, it doesn't bother the Democrats or the lefties. They got blind spot.
Volume's gone down a bit again. Sorry.
They got a blind spot to the lefties for these things. So how's that? Is that better?
Keep talking. Yeah, I think so.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
It's just the volume just keeps dipping. I mean, to be honest with you, if you can get the recording of this, like the WAV or AIF or MP3, whatever it is, I can probably sort out on my in my software the dips in volume, so I can like kind of ease it.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Hang on. I'm just gonna turn my knob up. What does this do? Is that better?
That seems fine. Yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes. But I'll be honest with you, it's been all right. It's just every now and then you'll dip in and out. Yeah, you seem fine now. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So yeah. Oh yeah, Twitter Wallies or Twitter Muppets. Yeah. That I don't know. I mean, we I nearly said we're on the tendency, but I mean, for a start, I didn't vote for Trump. I prayed for him, but I didn't vote for him, right? And I don't want to. I'm not responsible. I'm not going to be responsible. I don't want to associate myself because already there's these weird things going on. Right?
Again, volume. Sorry, sorry to cut in, but like just the volume again. Like I can't quite hear what you're saying.
Okay, hang on. Let's try. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. It's inconsistent. That's all. So sometimes I can, sometimes I can't.
Yeah, it could be a dodgy internet connection. So
it sounds like something to do with. Are you actually using a standalone mic, or is it the mic from the laptop?
Yeah, I'm using a USB mic. Yeah.
It could be something to do with that. I mean, like if you were just using what's the laptop itself like? Can you maybe try using
this is what I was saying, because I've got to get hold of a better laptop. This is my sort of this is my behind enemy lines laptop that can be dropped out Windows. Probably has been a few times. So I need to get the top notch equipment. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I'm just thinking I might go into headphones because I've got you out on the speakers. It might be a bit easier on headphones. Let me just swap in the headphones.
I don't know. I can mess with my knobs. I've got two.
Can you still hear me?
What does that do? Is that any different?
We'll find out in a sec. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
All right, great. Cool. Yeah, just checking. I'm on my headphones now, so it's a lot of people use headphones. It's just kind of like easier. I like to just have it out loud. So I don't like wearing the headphones, I prefer not to. But it's fine anyway. It's cool.
I'll just check that I am on this mic's picking up. Let me just check. Okay. Give us us a second.
No worries.
So, yeah, so hang on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah. I mean, if it was to remain at that volume, that's perfect levels.
Yeah.
It just seems a bit sensitive or something, your mic. I don't know. Sensitive to
So anyway,
it
so yes. So I mean, listen. What do we think of Trump, though? I mean, recently the craziest thing that's happened recently, is his idea of turning Gaza into some kind of golfing resort. What? That's weird. What do you think of that?
I missed that. Sorry, because the volume dipped again. His idea of what?
He's going to turn Gaza into a golfing resort.
Oh yeah, the Riviera of the Middle East. Didn't he say something like this? Yeah, I mean, look, if he can if the Palestinians are going to be housed there in the territory there, then I don't see what a massive issue is with it. Oh God, now some delivery guy at the bloody door. Well, I'm just going to ignore him. He might knock on my window, and I might have to get annoyed with him and tell him to go away. But anyway, yes, what we talking about?
Are we delivering something to you?
No, not to me. They come here all the time. What was I
All right,
saying?
bring him on the chat. Don't worry about it.
What was I going to say? He might be from the region even. But yeah, so what was I going to say? What was I going to say? So yeah, so that idea. I mean, in of itself, I'm not against like regenerating the area. Obviously, putting some money into the area and making it, proper again. But I don't know. It's a bit of a weird play. I'm not sure who's in control here, Trump or Netanyahu. Maybe I should. Maybe that's a bit stupid of me. Maybe I should know. Maybe I should know that it's Israel. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is with Trump, I think he is bought into.
Again, the mic. I just can't hear anything. Sorry.
He's bought into Zionism. Can you hear me? Is that okay?
Maybe a little bit.
Listen, okay, I might go down. I might move. Is it okay now or not?
No, it's a bit quiet.
Okay, this is tricky. Right.
Have you tried maybe just using the literal laptop mic like I am and see if that works? We'll see how that sounds.
All right, listen, I'm going to unplug this. Okay, yeah?
Sorry?
All right. I'm going to unplug and see what happens,
okay?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Is it any better than before?
I get the feeling this is going to be much better. Just keep talking, though. You seem a bit more...
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it better? I mean, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely better.
Oh, that's pretty wacky. Gosh, that's supposed to be... Okay. Is it okay now?
Yeah, I think it's going to be better.
Right. That is weird. Oh, man. Audio Technica, man. It's supposed to be a good USB mic, but okay, I don't know. It could be about my bandwidth. So, yeah.
Well, things like that
what I was saying... Eh?
Sorry, I was just going to say, like, things like that are weird because I had, I thought for some reason, because I'm used to doing it on webcam, I was setting up the webcam. And my webcam that I've got, which should be better than the cam on my laptop, really, it is worse. So these things, these things are strange.
Right. I'm pretty sure the quality ain't as good, but I mean, I say quality. There's no quality if you can't hear me, is there? Do you know what I mean?
For me, I would say yes. If you could keep, when you were using the previous mic and it was working, if you could keep that consistent, yes, it was slightly better quality. But to be honest, it's not a huge difference. It's not like some disastrous difference. So.
I wonder what's going on.
Plus, I can actually consistently hear you now. So.
Well, hang on, you're the tech guy. So what mic? What are you using? A laptop? Are you using
I'm
a laptop?
Using my MacBook mic. Yeah, I keep meaning to get a mic. Yeah, I keep meaning to get a mic because it's I feel like the sound quality can be better, but at least it's consistent anyway.
I don't know, man. I got to fiddle with my knobs or something. Something's wrong with that thing.
Good job. The webcam is on,
then.
You said you're going to fiddle. I was saying good job. The webcam's on.
Yeah. So what
do you think about the Riviera of the Middle East idea?
That's what I was saying about his motivations, man. I think with his sort of son-in-law being of that. Let's just couch ourselves now in euphemism, don't we, when we're talking about these things? If you know what I mean. So with his son-in-law being of a Middle Eastern heritage, shall we say, he is fully bought into that. He's fully bought into Zionism. I think he's just genuinely bought into it. I mean, wasn't he sort of backed by Adelson? Isn't he completely bailed out by these Middle Eastern types? It
I'm
saved him from
not.
bankruptcy multiple times, right? So he just
Who was
believes in
that?
their program, right?
Who was that? Sorry, from where Safe bailed him out?
He was bailed out by Adelson. He's been bailed out time and time again from bankruptcy by by
Oh,
the small
casino
house.
guy. Yeah, they're the pack. Yeah.
So I don't think I think he's acting with a relative amount of freedom, in as much as I don't think he's been blackmailed or he's not under mind control to do what he does, but he just believes in it. Actually, Miriam Edelson gave him 100 million for 100 million. This was prior to the election. So
Yeah.
$100 million, that goes a long way. You can imagine.
Yeah, they were doing it
And
to kind of like do anti-Joe Biden ads and stuff like this, isn't it? In like the battleground states. So
and
yeah,
Miriam Edelson was born in Tel Aviv, and when it was Palestine in 1945.
right.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things. I mean, he just believes that he believes in it. He's a Zionist, right? I guess we have to accept that. He's a Zionist, and he's always been a Zionist, right? So that's it. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, if he can put in just take.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Yeah, you're muted. What happened? The mic isn't connected. Uh-oh. All right, we've lost Future Shock at the moment. And so no idea what's going on there. Could be a combination of factors, but I'll take this opportunity to talk a little bit about something about Queen Victoria and well, this is the title of the show, so to be fair, I have to cover these topics. So I did call this show Royal Quantum Coincidence Vampires, right? So I better get into this. So get old Future Shock to reconnect his mic. Oh, okay, I'm going to talk about this. So right, this is from my book Kane's Children. It's chapter called Victoria's Secret, and the thing is, the myth of the vampire isn't a myth. It's all based in the hereditary royal bloodlines of this. We say it's this hereditary disease, and everybody knows about the madness of King George III. Madness of King George III. So he famously babbled nonsense for like 52 hours on Christmas Day, and just one can imagine just absolute carnage of this guy. So what it is, it's the royal families of Europe, which issued Queen Victoria's bloodline. They had this famously. Queen Victoria had this hemophilia genetic legacy, and it spread throughout the whole of Europe. And it's partially, arguably, Queen Victoria's genetic inheritance is responsible for the Russian Revolution, all of that carnage, and that came as a result of that. And the reason that happened was because the Tsarina was sort of, some say she was carrying on with Rasputin, but the whole thing of having obviously a haemophiliac son Nikolai cast the God-given power of the Tsar into some disrepute. It's like it was cursed. And in effect, they were cursed with this ancient sort of cursed bloodline, which goes back potentially thousands of years, but it can be traced. We sort of is something that is present in the royal blood, and it's hemophilia and porphyria intimately connected. So what happened is that the several Spanish nobles died in a car accidents and motorcycle accidents because they had haemophilia, and so it wiped out several members of the Spanish nobility. led to weakening of Russian authority, the royal family, where the the youngest son was hemophiliac, and the Tsarina was going to desperate measures, fooling around with this lunatic guy Rasputin, who we don't know what he was all about. I mean, he's a really weird guy. It's said that on his death he was, oh gosh, it's said that on his death he cursed he cursed Russia, and he sort of said that there will be people following me, and they will avenge my death, and then we have the Russian Revolution. We can only sort of imagine, but what this Rasputin was, he was clearly an agent of the Illuminati, because we have pictures of him making various Masonic signs, Masonic illusions. So it's really weird how fate and history seem to work, and politics and the Masons seem to work hand in hand. But so this goes all the way back, and it goes back to the myth of the vampire. Is what it is. It's like there's islands. There's like sort of the history is a sea, and most of it is hidden beneath the waves, right? But there are things that emerge above the sea, and we could say that the Russian Revolution is one of those. And we have like these data points, should we say? We have Rasputin, we have Queen Victoria, we have the haemophiliac son Nikolai, and we have King George III, and they all are connected by this sort of legacy of royal blood, right? But it goes back another data point, another node. I think it's better to say it's a node, because nodes connect. They connect things, and they're sort of they work. They're sort of part of a continuous continuum. And one of those nodes is also Vlad the Impaler and the myth of the vampire. So we have this story, and also Countess Bathory. So we have these stories from history of Countess Bathory, just some lunatic Hungarian noble who'd murdered apparently the most prolific serial killer in history, who apparently murdered hundreds of maids and servants. And this began apparently that she's said to have slapped a maid across the face, and blood came from her nose, which then splashed Countess Bathory on the face. And she found from this that that she found the blood was actually good for her complexion, was actually good for her skin. Now, Countess Bathory suffered, like Vlad the Impaler, suffered from this illness called porphyria. And porphyria is a really, really weird thing. It's a really weird genetic disease. And it's something that is present in the royal bloodline. Obviously, the royal bloodline is international, which is how you can have. I mean, Prince Charles famously has been shown to be connected to Vlad the Impaler. So it's how you can have these international. This is the internationalism. These people are all connected. But porphyria is a really weird disease. So it's like you can't properly metabolize iron, so you're not able to like produce red blood cells and transport heme. And heme is like where it's the root of iron. It's like iron. So you can't transport oxygen. You cannot have oxygenated blood cells, and so as a result of this, you're kind of perpetually starved of heme. And the effects of this are a range of physiological and psychological problems. So it includes hearing voices, sensitivity to sunlight, psychosis, and this is so sensitivity to sunlight. So literally, on exposure to the sun, your skin, your porphyria suffer, your skin would blister and burn. Right. So clearly, this is where the vampire myth comes from. the way to ameliorate the symptoms of porphyria are to ingest heme, which is blood. So Countess Bathory found that upon slapping her sort of female serving maid, she found that it improved the skin condition, improved her condition of the skin. And she must have sort of joined the dots, and she realized, but then of course she wouldn't know the scientific process of it. So what she'd be doing is she's like, oh, I just slapped this serving maid, right? So now this blood, I need the blood of this. And so she then went on a murder rampage and was said to bathe in human blood. That reminds me of sort of Lady Gaga and all that kind of crazy stuff. But this porphyria, this is something that doesn't go away, and it sort of remains dormant in the you know, recessive genes. And King George III, right? His urine was said to have been the color of Alicante wine. They say he had blue urine. That's not quite right. What they really meant is he had purple urine, but true purple is a kind of reddy kind of blue color, and the color of Alicante wine is kind of like a, well, it's true purple, not that sort of blue purple, but the reddy purple. And the color of the urine is caused by excreting the porphyrins. They're called porphyrins. You know, the porphyrins are not correctly engaging and not metabolizing the heme, and therefore they're excreted in the urine. So he had this porphyria. He had this like this red urine when he had these bouts of porphyria. And this was King George III. So this is actually relatively, you know, a couple of hundred years ago, really. And Queen Victoria acquired this. It expressed itself in Queen Victoria as haemophilia, but it was like it mutated after the birth of her first daughter. So yeah. So the thing is, the interesting thing about this porphyria, the whole thing, is that porphyria is purple, but it's become this idea of royal purple. And purple, for thousands of years, has been the color of the elite of the Romans, and it all comes back to this shellfish that was harvested. The myth is that Hercules' dog, whose name I do not know, I mean, it hasn't been recorded by history, the dog's name, but the dog apparently devoured a load of shellfish in what would be modern day Morocco. And it was found that his like muzzle was stained purple. And so, I mean, if it's myth or fact or Hercules, I mean, did he really exist? But all of this stuff, that's where the myth comes from. And this became the royal color, and it was really expensive to produce because so many, you know, tons of this shellfish, this murex shellfish, were needed to produce this royal purple. Anyway, listen. Yeah. I mean, so that's the thing. It's like there's this royal bloodline of insanity, and it's connected to purple, the royal purple, and it could be a coincidence that Phoenicia and the Phoenicians were those who, shall we say, the Edomites and the Phoenicians were the Canaanites, and it's those people who were always involved in the sort of what we would call satanic, but what they just called their religion, the Phoenician sacrifice cults of the Middle East. But I'll tell you what, I'll take a break there. I'll see if I can get to Future Shop back, and I'll just play a little tune, okay? So some pretty cool music we've got here from my mate's band. So I'm going to mute myself and play this. I'm a bit new to all this, so bear with, right? Okay, so see you in a few 3 minutes or so. Maybe I'll play an extra long song so we can actually see what's happened to Future Shop, okay? Okay, Future Shock's back, I think.
Hello, you hear me?
Hey, bro. Hey, great. You're back. How you doing?
Yeah. Not sure what happened there. I think my laptop bugged out a little bit. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is why I've got fans on it because it's a little bit.
Nice. Yeah. Well, same as me with my old clunky old doorstop thing and the mic.
I would say though, I was able to hear from what you were talking about before with the Alicante wine urine stuff. It was all very clear and consistent. The audio, so the audio sounds much better now.
Nice one. Well, that's all right, isn't it? That's something.
This is the first time I've ever been chucked out of a chat or a show by my laptop, which is mad because I once did about 6 hours with someone and it was fine all along. So you can see how that happens, though, can't you? Because look, we've been chatting away for about 47 minutes now, and we haven't even really covered anything of what we were going to talk about.
Yeah,
listen, I mean, a little bit, but not that much. You can see how it can go on. You know, you can actually these shows can go on for like hours. Yeah,
well, they do, don't they? And I can see how it's done, isn't it? If you've got a few beers and you're just chilling out, and you could just go for hours. I mean, I called this show Royal Quantum Coincidence Vampires, right? And I thought, well, I'll cover some of that. I'll cover it all, but I've just covered the vampires. I've covered the raw vampires, but the quantum coincidence, I ain't going to that. So that's all. That's what we need. So, what do you want to do now, bro? I was going to play that tune, but I think we'll just, since you're here, we'll.
Sorry. Sorry.
We could go on about the quantum coincidence aspect, right?
You hear me still? Sorry.
I can hear you all right, bro. Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Why is it doing this?
You're right. Yeah, we can put some music on if you want. Yeah.
Can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you all along, man. Yeah, everything's. I don't know what you're doing, but I can hear you fine. I can hear you cracking up a beer, man. Did you crack open a beer? I can't hear you now. All right, listen, I'm going to put music on, yeah? And if you can hear me or whatever and you want to talk, you talk. But I'll just put a tune on. I can't hear what it's like on the other side. Look, let's put...
I'm not sure.
You all right, bro? Let's have a little bit of fun, okay? Let's listen to some of my friends' songs. One of his songs.
Fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John. What's the fucking box? Fucking hell, John. What's up down the shops? Sway the fucking floor! Fucking the end of the door! Do the fucking dusting! Get me the fucking backpack as a fucking prince of busting! Fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John. The fucking overall! Fucking hell, John. That's what's only been called! Fucking dog! Fucking hell, John! I'm fucking disinfect the fucking bar! Let her fucking breathe in! Fucking hell, John! Fucking know that much I'm freezing! Fucking hell, John! Start the fucking fire! And don't forget to throw the fucking light that's in the dryer! Fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, make the fucking beds! Fucking hell, John! Get me fucking beds! I'm fucking out with me juice! Well, first before you fucking zombies down the sleeves! I can get the walls of cuts! Fucking give me the remote! I fucking get your cigarette! You know what's in my ear till I fucking down the laundry! Fucking hell, fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, fucking hell, fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, John! Fucking hell, John! Bear the fucking talk! Fucking hell, John! Fucking give me back a scrub! Fucking hell, John! Where's me fucking roll? Fucking hell, John! Throw your fucking dagger down the pub! Fucking hell, John! Fucking put that like guitar! Fucking hell, John! I'm fucking Jamie fucking powers. Me fucking body's dripping out on his fucking wilted fucking sucked up fucking slipping. Fucking get the table laid. Fucking get me hearing aids. I'm not a fucking precious song. You'll have to fucking move me cause it's fucking feeling wrong. Get me in my fucking state. Dance is fucking time to eat. Your call is fucking fucking.
I need to use you.
It's only fucking tender. I've got me fucking catches to the fucker in the blender. The fucking telly is alright. Your fucking tweet is alright. Fucking get a fucking stunner. Get on the fucking light away. You're all that clever color. Now fucking fuck about the back. Fucking dominate the world. I'm fucking swing the fucking yard. Fucking hell, Joe, where the fuck's your credit card?
Fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, fucking hell, John, fucking hell, John.
All right, so we've lost Future Shock, so we don't know what's going on, but I feel somewhat contractually obliged to fulfill the stipulation of the show title, which means I need to talk about quantum coincidence. So I talked about royal vampires, and all of this stuff's in my book Kane's Children. It's on my website, like truthspin.com and all that. So I'm gonna have a little go on about quantum coincidence, and it's too bad that old Future Shock's not here, because he was he was my co-experimentee really. He was sort of he kind of like he was engaged in sort of research for me. And so what it is, right? Basically, the word coincidence is like a throwaway word, so it's more than that. I mean, the ufologist Jacques Vallée was exploring the existence of UFOs, and he wrote a really interesting book called Messengers of Deception. And his research of UFOs led him to discover lots of UFO cults, and these cults sort of tended to have a strange sort of New World Order theme behind them, and like removal of old traditions, religions, etc., and the embracing of a new age, shall we say? Right? But Jacques Vallée was far from convinced that UFOs were a material phenomenon, and he believed that they were something that was something that's an extra-dimensional phenomenon, but it's in contact with secret government departments and occult underground movements. But the result of his explorations and his research led him to discover that that information is not ordered sequentially or alphabetically, but it's ordered thematically. So he kind of got this, like how a computer would order information by themes, and it's like reality works the same way. So when you get a coincidence, it's like well, my own personal thing is it's like the universe is trying to create meaning, and when you think about something or you have a need and it materializes instantly, or you meet a person you were thinking about, or I've got so many examples, but we all have an example in our lives of coincidence. But what that is, it's the universe creating its own sense of order, right? So it's like a coherent unit of reality, So I mean, I spoke to Future Shock the other day about this, and there's two incidents. There's like countless instances, and I've written about these in my books, but like one in particular is I had a bike, I had like a racing bike. I looked it up outside Dalston train station. It wasn't tube station, train station. Really not the idea back in the day, but I was naive and I thought, it's okay, so it's me. So yeah, I came back, found the bike was gone. So 200 quid out of pocket. Couldn't get to work next day. So I was like, asking the universe a question. I was like, hang on, this isn't right. What happened here? You got to pay up. And the next day I didn't go to work. Instead, I sort of went for a walk. And on the course of that walk, I found a wallet with 200 quid in it. So it's like, okay, so that became, like, for me, that's what I call a coherent unit of reality. It's like, it's a coincidence, yeah. I mean, it isn't just a coincidence. It's clearly a statistical, improbable occurrence that you had your bike nicked, worth 200 quid, your 200 quid out of pocket. So the next day you sort of walk around out of work, and the fact that you're out of work, just you couldn't get in to do your job or whatever that day because you didn't have transport. You walk around, you find 200 quid. It's like, okay, for me, that's like, yeah, that makes sense. That's a closed loop. That's like an information. That's like a reality unit. It's like, yeah, that's a finished, completed equation. And I think that's how I see it. I mean, also, I mean, that's what Jack Raleigh sort of thought. He sort of thought the universe has this intelligence, and of course it does. And the universe is constantly striving to create meaning and sense. But I think you can actually create these things, and that's what creating coincidence. And this is what I got my friend Future Shock doing. It's like manifestation experiments. And I'm going to go for an hour. We only got a few more minutes, but I'd like to go into this next time with Future Shock himself. We can relay what happened with his experiments and research into making things happen. But it's pretty bloody interesting stuff. I mean, I got so many crazy examples of this. And I assume this is something I've spoken to Future Shock about. It's like if you start off, you start off small with these things, these coincidences. They start off small, right? But you got to follow them, and you got to sort of you got to follow this trail of coincidence until it becomes frankly extraordinary and almost too much to handle. Because you sort of get to the point where you're sort of saying to yourself, "This is weird as fuck," It's like, I'm like doubting reality. I'm doubting my own reality at this point because this is so weird. What's going on? Who's doing this? Who's looking? Who's behind the curtain? And all this stuff. But it ain't really that. It ain't really a problem. It's just these things are kept from us. This information about our ability to create coincidence and manifest. So New Agers say that, but they can create reality. But then again, it's quantum physics. So this is something I'm researching in context and sort of connection with this. It's quantum mechanics, and my book, which I'm not particularly here to promote, but Light in the Darkness. It's out on paperback. You get it on Amazon. Go to my website, truespoon.com. And I just produce these just to people can get them. You can get it for free on my website, just on Google Drive. But same time you can get a paperback copy, which would be ace. I mean, it's nice actually, printed full color and all that. Anyway, Jesus Christ, I sound like I'm promoting. I didn't intend to. Just got sucked into it, self-promotion. Hey, looks like Future Shock might be back. Let's see what's going on. Let's get Future Shock up. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, man. I think it's the laptop was bugging up or has been bugging up. It just gets like really hot in this room easily.
Yeah.
This
okay.
Laptop, I mean, so
well,
but it should be good
now. Be back, just in time.
Yeah. What were you talking about?
Yeah, well, that's it. I was talking about the little the experiments that you were helping me with about the coincidence stuff. I just did a little talk about that. So yeah, and do you want to talk about that? Like those?
Yeah, it was very strange, wasn't it? I mean,
it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Starting off, I don't know if you went through it, but starting off with what was it? Just like a 10p or something like this that I was trying to find, and then just gradually building up. And then the idea that right in the end, when I was trying to get the travel card, finding one half, then finding another half, and then finding the full travel card perched on the top of a kind of brick wall, which was exactly the right height for me to see it. It was basically unmissable for me as I walked past it. and there was the culmination of God knows how many. In fact, to be fair, it wasn't that. It didn't really take that long, did it? Do you remember the time frames of it? Because I can't quite remember how long it took me to find each thing. Do you remember roughly how long it took?
I think it was. I think we both forgot about it, didn't we? For several days. I think it was about a month. Would that sound right to you, or 6 weeks time?
I was going to say it can't be much longer than that because it wasn't like it was like a really, really long time or whatever. But yeah, it was so bizarre to find that last travel card. Pretty girl as well, really pretty girl, the travel card. I don't think I ever managed to get it to the person. I think I ended up just handing it in.
Oh, yeah, the picture was a pretty girl.
Yeah, just a little cherry on the icing sort of thing. The picture was a pretty young girl, but yeah, some student girl. Yeah, so
how did it work? What did you do? I mean, what did you go out there? I mean, the brief was what was the brief? It was like we're creating coincidence. That was the idea.
Well, basically, the idea was I think that if you think something and you visualize something, then you can make it happen or manifest it.
But they call that coincidence, but we're manifesting. I mean, I don't like that. That's a new age type thing. But it is we're manifesting stuff, but creating coincidence or making things happen. But
yeah, like a sort of reality creation, reality manifesting, whatever you want to. Reality control, maybe. I don't know. Genjitsu. So I looked this up. There's a Japanese phrase for it. It's called. Reality. Cool. I made up the phrase, by the way. This isn't like some ancient Japanese thing. I just thought it would be funny to hear what it sounded like because everyone always says things about like Aikido and stuff like that. So I thought it's like what I was talking to you yesterday about. You know, you can have a communion. You can have a communication with the universe or God or whatever you want to term it. That sort of force of nature that's out there, and in subsequent days and weeks, you see a kind of response in the way that reality works, and you can, to some degree, if you know what you're doing, sort of manipulate it to a certain degree, reality manipulation, and in Japanese that's called Genjitsu Sosa. So I like a bit of Genjitsu Sosa. Yeah.
Is that a translation of a thing you've made up, or that doesn't exist?
That's reality manipulation translated into Japanese.
That's very cool. I like that a lot. Genjitsu. What does it say? It just sounds like
Genjitsu Sosa.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you could put it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think we tried. Did we try for anything after the travel card, or did? I don't think we did anything after the travel card.
We had this vague idea of you. We got a bit cocky because what about finding a badge with a sun's face on it? Something. Didn't we say something like that? Finding a sun face, some kind of badge. It was a bit cocky, wasn't it? You know what I mean? I don't know if you ask too much of that, but
it's interesting. Is how far you can push it. How far could you push it? Like I was saying yesterday, you're not going to find like a suitcase full of like $100 bills or something. Unfortunately.
But I mentioned that example of me losing my bike, getting my bike nicked, and the next day finding 200 quid. And also when I went running, I lost 20 quid, and then the next day I went running with my mate, and then he found £1, and I thought, you look at it, and then I looked and there was 20 quid, and it's like, that's flipping weird. But it's that certain. I mean, how did you feel like when you were? What was your intention to find that 10p? Did you believe in it? What did you think? Was you open-minded?
Well, the way I was doing it, as far as I can remember, the way I was doing it was I was just visualizing a 10p piece like everywhere I went.
Yeah.
So wherever I was walking around, getting on the train, blah blah blah, I would just be like trying, at least to some degree, in my mind, hold the picture of a 10p piece. Because I think that was kind of part of our idea that like the actual visualization of said thing brings said thing to reality. And that's basically what I was doing, which is obviously very difficult to do, walking around thinking about a 10p or a 20p or whatever, a travel card. So, but that's how I approached it anyway.
Yeah, well, I definitely appreciate your efforts because you provide a very cool chapter in my book and absolute evidence. I mean, we've got pictures, we've got photographic evidence of the half. You provided all that evidence, didn't you? The two halves. You found out. Was it at one point you found half of a travel card, and then shortly after you found the other half of a different travel card, right?
Yeah, and it wasn't like it was the same side of the card. It was like sort of one that had been, both had been like ripped in half. And so I sort of found the left-hand side and then what would be the right-hand side afterwards. So obviously different travel cards. That would be insane if it was the same one. But it was the idea. It was kind of like building up.
Yeah. And then finally, because you did say that you'd lost, you'd lost, you stopped thinking about it, you stopped doing it for a while. I haven't done it. I just stopped doing it. And then you started doing it, and then I think it was a couple of days, you found a whole travel card. You actually got a whole travel card. As you said, it was right where you couldn't miss it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like almost sort of like shoulder height brick wall outside a house, kind of like as you turn the corner of a street. And usually they've got, the end of the street's got kind of like a brick wall leading onto the sort of the house. And yeah, it was just one of them ones. And yeah, I was ecstatic when I found it. I was like,
that's so cool.
The happiest person who just. Huh?
Did you get the £5 off it? Because I think there's a deposit on these things, isn't there? Yeah, there is.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember.
So you were ecstatic finding this travel card.
So what it was it was a student travel card, wasn't it? So it was like her, I don't know, yearly or monthly pass or something like this. But yeah. But no, I was ecstatic because it was kind of like, it sort of was proving our point, wasn't it? Yeah. So it's like, it's when, it always like, when you find something that's kind of like gives you a bit of shot of, oh God, there's some real truth in this sort of thing. That little feeling that you get there is just like, oh, it's interesting. It's a kind of surreal feeling, but it's also kind of like it's weird, but it's cool. It's cool weird, not, bad weird.
Yeah, it's the glimpse of something that is transcendent, and it's like when the universe is speaking to you, and it's like you feel like you're in a movie, or it's like this kind of thing that happens to you that only happens in movies. You know what I mean? Like something cool and weird.
Oh yeah, definitely. It just such a weird vibe, but yeah, I was just kind of happy to have also like completed the task as well. It was just But like you say, funnily enough, when I'd sort of taken my eye off the ball a little bit, so yeah, it's interesting.
So I mean, that's the thing, though, isn't it? This reality we live in, this artificial kind of material world, right? They're trying to strip these possibilities from us. They're trying to make us think we're not special. We're just like human cattle. And this is why this is why it's so important for them to control entertainment. And people just so sad. Like this, people don't know who they are. Do you know what I mean? They don't know what they're capable of. And this is one of my things. This is why they're attacking. This is why they're attacking Christianity. What I think, because Christianity, or should we say the church, for all it's false, and of course there are many, and I know you have your opinions, I'm not entirely sure, but it is at least one of those avenues of transcendence, one of them escapes from EastEnders and Sunday dinner and the sort of the 9 to 5. It's like there's more to life than the Labour government, telling you what to do and you paying your taxes and having them flood your country with all sorts of weather. But we won't go there. But it's like that transcendence, that escape.
Yeah, I was going to say that escapism.
Yeah. Well,
it's also how long do you think it can last, though? Because in terms of having religion as a thing in society, I suppose. I mean, I'm not suggesting that it's going to disappear anytime soon, but I mean, I can't see it being around the way it is around now in like sort of 200, 300 years time. I think it's just something for, I think religions are something, I think you'll find that when you look across the galaxy and the universe and look at other civilizations, when you see them in their embryonic stage, you'll find that most likely they have some similar type religion, quote unquote, type thing. That's a kind of way of connecting to God, a way of putting down various kind of like rules and standpoints and morals and virtues for how to live. And, it's maybe something that just happens when you have an early doors civilization as they're trying to, find their feet in the universe and in reality. And, as time goes on, as intelligence rises, perhaps we realize that, it had its place back then, but perhaps it's not so useful. However, I will say to your point of transcendence, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something that necessarily will go away. It just may be understood in a slightly different way. I'm talking more about people organizing into religions and like having people say, I am Christian, I am Muslim, I am etc. I don't think we're going to really have that in a couple of 100 years' time or so, maybe even sooner than that, to be honest. I mean, we're very much on the... Yeah, go on.
I think that's worrying because I think, to be honest with you, if we don't have, that's the only avenue of transcendence. The New World Order or the Labour Party or the deep state that Trump's fighting against, they don't want us to be they don't want us to find transcendence. They want us to be cattle. They want us to be units, consumer units. So where is the message of our possibilities, our divine? I mean, the Bible frequently, our rights come. I mean, listen, I'm not getting into it, but arguably our human rights, our sovereign rights, our divine rights of human freedom come from the Christian Bible or whatever. But we won't necessarily get into that. But what I will say is, who's gonna give us this transcendence? Who's gonna guide us to this awareness of what we truly are? And I know you obviously believe that we are more than mere physical beings, right? But who's going to give us that to us? I mean, I don't see any government department or going out their way to tell us that we're infinite cosmic beings. I mean, I like David Icke for that respect. I mean, that's one thing that David Icke always went on about, our potential, that the body computer. I mean, my thing is we're made of light, and we connect to that light, and that.
I think you're kind of just like answering your own question a little bit there, though, as well. There will be people. Maybe David Icke is obviously like a controversial figure, divides opinion, blah blah blah. But there's going to be, as we go into the future, there's going to be more and more people who are talking about this kind of thing, and I think we'll deviate towards more sort of scientific understanding of transcendence than, because at the end of the day, it is kind of science, right? It has to be.
Oh, sure, man.
So. This is kind of what I mean. I think we'll go more in that direction in our way of understanding it, and leave like the religious sort of texts and learning and schools behind. But again, like, to be clear, I'm not talking about this happening in the next sort of like 20 years or something. This is something that's much further down the road. My point is, generally, it's not going to last. I don't think we're going to be lasting infinitely as all these different religions. I think humanity will get to a point where it's advanced enough to realize that. To know more about transcendence in of itself from a scientific perspective, some might argue the proper perspective. I would leave that out there. But I just think that with time it will, as we've kind of seen anyway, right? Like, over time, people are kind of less religious now. Like, obviously, you can argue that that's maybe not a good thing, but we're looking at it from current perspective. But I think as intelligence increases, as we get a better understanding of everything, we're not going to lose those ideas of transcendence and whatnot, but I think we'll just understand them better, more differently, and we won't really sort of necessarily need religion to tell us about these things anymore.
Well, all right. Well, I'll put my cards on the table. I mean, I'm a Christian, and you're not, but I don't know, you describe yourself as, I don't know how, you're not religious, but perhaps you're spiritual, perhaps you believe in your soul, or you believe in consciousness. But I'll just put our cards on the table. So people have always known me from the old internet days of being Christian and all that. But what I would say is, I think it's like from the investigations into the UFO cults that Jack Valley did, there are a lot of organizations, and the New Age. Remember the New Age? They've disappeared, haven't they? But they were trying to do this, weren't they? This was something that they were trying to achieve, was to try and break the old, religious connections or religious tradition, the ethics or whatever, and create this age of Aquarius, this new sort of golden age of humanity and stuff. But I don't trust that. I think if we do, I agree with you that we do need some guidance, and we do have, the church has been very piss poor historically and is even worse now. And the message of Jesus has been corrupted from day one, from very early. And yeah, we do need some kind of updating, right, of who we are, what we can do, and a scientific basis, which is something I've tried to do, right, in my
Yeah.
books. But is it not dangerous? Who do we trust? That's what I'm saying. Like, who can we trust? Do you know what I mean? I mean, I don't even know if I trust David Icke really that much. You know.
No, I get what you're saying. It's still all very experimental. I mean, we're still a very young civilization anyway. I mean, look, I mean, obviously there's a lot of work that's gone into people like Graham Hancock and people like that who've gone into sort of like early civilizations and stuff like this. But broadly speaking, sorry, so I turned my phone off. It just pinged. Broadly speaking, you know, humans have been around like, well, let's just say sort of 450-ish thousand years. So, and then also in terms of recent times, you know, it's only like a few thousand. So we're still very young, and we're still learning. And I guess my
civilization is young, yeah.
Civilization-wise, yeah. I mean, it's just spitting the ocean at the moment. So, you know, we're still learning. So I just think that maybe in the future there'll be more different avenues to understand these things and like teach these things. And I take your point though, is like who you're going to believe, but like when you've got more and more people involved who understand like some proper science about it, it can really kind of like make a proper scientific case for these things, which I think will come in the future. Then it's going to be irrefutable, really, and we'll move forward from there, I think, and that moving forward will leave like religions behind, I think. And that's, by the way, that's not me trying to knock religion. I'm not trying to have a go at religion or people who follow religion, or anything like that. I mean, I do get totally that, you know, why do I watch football? Football's an escape from the 9 to 5 and all that. So it's not that different from a religion, you know, everyone organising together for the same cause, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, no, I just think that with time we will understand these things better, and we will understand that religion was like a phase that we went through, that we had to go through to get us to where we are, sort of quote unquote now, at whatever that point in the future will be. So yeah, that's kind of the way I see it. I just see them dying out at some point, but not that they didn't have a positive impact at all, but like I just can't see them being around in like 200 to 300 years time if our knowledge and our understanding of the universe like keeps getting better and better, especially with AI coming along and our ability to learn things.
I don't know, because I've been reading the Gospel of Thomas. I mean, I always love the Gospel of Thomas. And Jesus, for me, is like a proto-quantum physicist. He's like he discovered quantum physics before physics was even a thing. Like one of the things he says is, lift up a stone and you will find me there. You split a piece of wood, I think I mentioned, and you will find me there. And I know I mentioned this to you before. And the only thing that has changed, you lift up a stone, you split a piece of wood, and then suddenly God is there. How is that possible that you've lifted a stone, you've turned it around, and there's God? Or you've split a piece of wood and there's God? Because you've exposed it to light, you know? And Jesus, the Bible says God is light. I mean, it's unequivocal. While you have the light, believe in the light. That's what the New Testament says. I mean, we can talk about Christianity, we can talk about the Old Testament, we can talk about the different books, but the words of Jesus, I think he was way ahead of his time. I mean, that's why 2,000 years people are still praying in his name. This is why he's still saving people. I mean, he saved me.
Well, there was a quote, wasn't there, as well, from I think the Gospel of St. Thomas, which is something along the lines of, we came from the. Is it something like we came from the realm of light to the realm of light we will return? Something like that. I probably butchered that, but it's something along those lines, isn't it?
Yeah, there's something like that. I think he says, you know, God bless the solitary for the solitaries. You are of the kingdom. You will and you will return. Something about solitaries. Yeah, I mean, what we can say solitary means, I mean, maybe, I don't know, someone who's like so-called a hermit or recluse, but someone who's focused on God. And, you know, you are
like monks or something like this.
Well, no, I don't think so, because I don't think Jesus was thinking of monks, but solitaries. I mean, I consider myself solitary in a sense, is that, you know, I am devoted to God, and I always think of God, and I just want to. I mean, I love life. Don't get me wrong, and but I'm waiting to get out of here. I'm like, yeah, this is just. I'm just biding time, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I love life.
You
I love
say that.
whatever,
I had a conversation. This is going back a little while now, but I had a conversation. You know, so where I work involves me talking to people sometimes who have these kind of ideas and stuff. So basically, I was on the phone to one person one time, and they were saying a similar thing. They were kind of like, I'm just curious to see, like, they were sort of basically saying that they were having like suicidal thoughts, but in the context of them being so curious about what happens next and their life being kind of a bit like boring or average and not really getting anything out of it. And they were just like, they've been doing a lot of reading about a lot of the sort of stuff that we talk about, to be honest with you. And, they were just saying, look, this is why I feel like I just want to end it because I want to see what happens next. And so we had a long conversation, and in the end, he was fine and everything, and nothing happened. He's fine. But it was an interesting approach. It was an interesting thing to hear that he wasn't like nothing. He hadn't gone through some abuse. He wasn't going through some incredibly terrible sort of life circumstance that drive him to do something to harm himself. He was literally just curious. He was completely sort of I won't say obsessed, maybe obsessed is the wrong word, but he was very well read on the sort of things that we talk about. And he was coming at it from like a scientific perspective as well, in terms of like what the afterlife would be and, what the soul is, and the soul is like electromagnetic energy and all this kind of stuff. And he seemed quite like on point about it. It was interesting. And I kind of like sort of what you said about like being a solitary.
He was talking about EM energy. Was he talking about that?
Yeah, he was like saying about how like he thinks the soul is sort of like electromagnetic energy and all
this
this.
Is exactly
kind of
what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same here. So I had this guy on the phone, and I was like in this fascinating conversation with him. But ultimately, he was suicidal because he wanted to go and see what was next. And I don't know. I can't remember what I said to him. We just chatted generally. We're going back about 8 years, probably 7 or 8 years. So in the end, he didn't do anything. So, and he was fine, and he thanked me for the time. We spent about an hour on the phone, probably just talking, and just sort of talking about the sort of stuff that we talk about. My point generally, sorry, that's sort of a little tangent I went off on that, but my point generally is I feel the same in terms of that the solitary thing. I think I'm probably more of a sort of solitary. I don't know. Do they call them ambiverts? Like, I don't know. People, I can be social if I want to, but I also like my own company, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool, I think, because I know people who just can't be on their own, and I think maybe it comes from your background as well. If you've grown up in a house where, I don't know, you've got lots of brothers and sisters, it's a busy house and whatnot, then the idea of being on your own is like quite a relative. It's quite a big contrast, and I think there's quite a few people who just they can't do it. And then obviously there's quite a few people who hate being around crowds. So, yeah.
I think it's about inner peace, isn't it? I think that's the key, isn't it? Just being at peace, right? Because everybody does things in order to be happy, right? So they do hobbies, or they meet people, go out, whatever. And it's in order to achieve sort of fleeting happiness or a peace, it's like to be happy, right?
I'm just going to go bathroom quickly. Just carry on talking about that. I'll be back in like 1 minute. Yeah.
Okay. So like my little tuppence worth. I mean, it's about peace, isn't it? It's like if you're settled in yourself. I think there's a difference, isn't it, between I mean, the people who just have peace in their mind. This is something that Jesus says, right? He says that when you go into the villages, he's talking to his disciples, go out and heal the sick, and let your peace descend upon them, right? Let your peace. It's like a gift. It's like something that that doesn't. Not everyone has that. A lot of people have a lot of all sorts of issues, psychological problems, restlessness. They need to be active. They can't sit still. But just generally, like most people as well, they have this constant barrage of thoughts in their mind. Right? They just, gosh, look at the world. I mean, the world is just designed to stress you and to create this constant sort of flashing diodes of panic and despair always going on, right? I mean, That's what we do. That's what motivates most people to get out of bed in the morning and go to work. The little diodes flashing. Oh, I gotta go to work. Gotta go to work. Oh God, worry about a job. Worry, right? But yeah, I mean, just peace. Cultivating that is important. And I've always gone on about Zen meditation, and you can literally cultivate inner peace. You know, where you don't actually have any thoughts in your mind, and you can control extraneous thoughts that come in and infringe upon you, and that, I think, if you have that inner peace, if you're just happy in yourself, right, you know, it's like you don't need to seek happiness from anywhere else. You know, it's always innate in you. You know, it's just really not. You're just happy. And I think we should all try and aim for that, because just we all want to be happy, right? We all want to be happy, but we got to have like a control, like a base level of personal satisfaction. You know, we're not always just running around trying to graphically equalize our quality of life and tweak this knob and bring that one up, and just like a base of who you are, and that's who you are, and you are your peace, you are your comfort, you are your inner repose. You know, you're not, you know, the guy who's just always trying to get laid, or the guy who's always got to be drunk to feel happy, or you're not the guy who has to be telling people what to do in order to feel happy with themselves. You know, you don't have to get anything, you don't have to steal anything from anyone emotionally or psychically or spiritually or whatever. Got that inner peace. Future Shock, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just letting you riff. Yeah, I was going to
Good,
say. So I was thinking, like, when you were saying that, I think my moments of inner peace come more from, I don't know. There's two types of them. There's the types where I've been like sort of more sober, to be honest with you. Times when I'm like, because I do, like, usually early on in the year, most years, I will do a long period of no drinking, and I find that I actually have the most fun, the most sort of I guess the inner peace thing. The most inner peace, I think, overall comes to me in those times when I reflect back on last year, for example. I think I was my most productive. Musically, I'd started the YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel I was telling you about, with the sort of like the atmospheric music and stuff. I just started that, so I was working on that. I was like banging out a load of tunes. Things were going well at the gym, blah, blah, blah. So it was just, I had an inner peace from that. But what I will say, in complete contrast to that, I think the only other inner peace I get is 5 a.m. in the morning after having about 13 Stellas, when I'm completely in that blissful mode of just like going on YouTube, watching. What I like to do sometimes when I'm a bit pissed up, or let's just say wavy, is like I have this little habit, wavy, as they say.
I like that.
Like, you know, really sort of like, you know, blissed up on the drink, is that what I quite like to do, sorry, is like watch. What I like about YouTube is you can get clips from movies, right? So people do certain clips from certain movies, and I like to watch, you know, some of my favorite ones that have got like the best scenes, the best scores, scenes with the best scores. So like ones with nice soundtracks. So I'll watch like some of the old Blade Runner stuff, some of the Ex Machina, which is a great movie if you haven't seen that already. It's got some really nice like scored parts to it. Traffic.
What's the story of that one? I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, I really, it's one of the movies I really recommend to people. It just took me by surprise and popped into my top 10 randomly one year. So it's basically about, I won't spoil it obviously, because it's basically about a guy. He's like this billionaire tech guy. He's very reclusive, and he lives in this like very far-flung, like isolated place, and he builds an AI, and he flies over some computer programmer to do the Turing test with this AI, and it's what happens after that, basically. And it's a really fantastic movie. I recommend it to anybody.
I think I have seen that, and I've seen it once, but that's a reminder to watch it again. That is a cool ass movie. Yeah, I might watch that tonight. Actually. Yeah.
Did you say you've seen it then? Did you say
I've seen it once, but it's a long time ago, and I think it was like 10 years ago. It was out, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 2016, so it's I would say old. It's not an old movie, but like, you know, it's from a few years ago. Did you see another one I like as well? Is Dune 2? Have you seen, like, in terms of the music?
Oh, mate, no, I ain't watched the new Dunes. No, I was just skeptical. I just didn't feel it. So I love the old Dune, the crazy Cronenberg. Is it David Cronenberg that did it? Right? Was it him? Was it Cronenberg? Absolutely brilliant movie.
Oh, was it Cronenberg that did June?
It was one of their nutters. It was one of the Hollywood nutters who I can't remember if it was David Cronenberg. No, Lynch. It was Lynch, wasn't it?
Lynch,
It was
yeah. It was Lynch.
Yeah, it was one of the weirdos, but it's amazing. Love it. So what June 2 is that good?
So I would say June. They're actually kind of different the way they've done the movies. I prefer June 2, but some people say differently. But I would definitely recommend watching them both. Yeah, there's elements to it which are a bit not amazing. I'm not saying it's the most amazing sci-fi movie I've seen, but like, you know, it's certainly worth watching, definitely, especially if you're having a little smoke, especially the first sort of half hour of June 2. Have a little smoke and watch that. It's very trippy. It's very nice.
Oh, you're speaking my language there, yeah. Is it better than the first one? Because I don't know. I just thought the casting was a bit weird. You know, I just want to show the casting.
The first one is in like the original way back.
No, the remake of it, right?
Oh, so I didn't like the first remake. I preferred the June 2. Which I suppose is the third.
So is June 2 the second part of the remake of the
yes, basically.
Yeah. And somehow that was better.
Yeah, I thought the second part was better.
Where does it start from then? Where does June 2 begin?
Oh God, I can't remember exactly. It's
because they cram it all into the Lynch version. Everything's crammed into it, like the whole like saga, isn't it?
I would say definitely just watch it. You won't be disappointed. Yeah. Especially like I say, the first sort of half hour, 45 minutes is really great cinema, really great music, really great directing.
Okay, right, yeah. So anyway, on the subject of extraterrestrial civilizations, do you want to go into one of your possible topics? And then
the Fermi paradox. Okay, so I'd like to know. It'd be interesting to know, and this would be good as well if we, you know, if and when we get like more of a following and people are in like the chat room making comments and stuff. It'd be interesting to know what the people in the chat would think. Sorry, but yeah, the Fermi paradox for me has always been a really daft thing. So let me just actually, before anything, let's just get what is the definition? So I'm not getting this wrong. So Fermi, I know what it is, but let me just get the actual definition. Fermi paradox definition. It's basically where are the aliens, isn't it? But it's like the discrepancy between the lack of conclusive evidence of advanced extraterrestrial life and the apparently high likelihood of its existence. Well, no shit, the universe is big. Well, you expect to see them just like in their fucking little spaceships just outside when you look out the window. I mean, come on. Like the idea that it's not that difficult to understand, surely, that we wouldn't see, or that it would at least be very difficult for us, at certainly our level of advancement as well, to be able to see alien civilizations, which presumably aren't just like right up next door on Mars or something, or they may have been before. That's another topic for another time, by the way. Because what I predicted as a little kid about Mars seems to be coming true. And I was only like fucking 8, but I loved Mars when I was a kid. That's another tangent for another time. But
I was always a Snickers like, no, I was just messing about. Why'd you love Mars as a kid? Boost for the win, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is it about Mars? Yeah, I mean, I was
fascinated when I was a kid. I was really fascinated with Mars, and if you remember, I grew up in the Yorkshire countryside basically, and had no light pollution, so I had a window to the stars basically. Wow. And I just used to look. Mars, obviously, it's up there. It's very bright red, orangey. It's just different. Yeah. It looks a bit different. Yeah. And so I just became a bit obsessed with it when I was a kid, and I just always had this feeling, and not really knowing exactly what I was basing this on, but I just kind of thought Mars, to me, looking at it, seems like it used to be like Earth. And it wouldn't surprise me if Mars was like, at one point, like flush with vegetation and water and rivers and seas and whatnot. And that was just a little kid. That was just like my feeling on it as a little kid. And now these days, I think there's a lot of work that's suggesting, like a lot of like top end scientific work that's suggesting that this is a very real possibility, that Mars could have been a bit more like Earth, basically, a long time ago. I'm not sure if you know too much about that or what your thoughts are on
that. I think I know that Mars has a day. Does it not have this almost exactly the same length as the Earth?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like
24-hour day, right?
It's 25 hours, I think. Yeah.
25 hours, yeah. Weren't there all those Mars photos that were coming? I don't know what the mission was, but it showed all these anomalies on the surface of Mars. And do you remember them? It's been a while ago. That's a couple of years ago. All these HD
And also,
pictures.
just to confirm, you are right. Actually, Mars's day is 24 hours and 37 minutes. So you could have rounded up to 25. But anyway, yeah. So it's just over 24 hours basically. Yeah. Well, they found like lots of strange, or what they claim to be kind of like strange, sort of like sort of formations,
geometric shapes, right?
Yeah.
Geometric and weird, suggestive things that because. Oh, I mean, the classic was the face on Mars, wasn't it? I mean, yeah. Listen, I grew up with that. Actually, now you mentioned that, I grew up with the face on Mars. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, no, I had a X-Files Book of the Unexplained. I had X-Files Book of the Unexplained as a kid, and a big part of that was about the apparent face on Mars. Yeah,
and that was in the 80s. It was Arthur C. Clarke. I remember it was it was the PG Tips teabag cigarette cards. Of course, they were teabag cards, but my neighbor would collect them for me, and it was the most spookiest, amazing thing ever, right? I mean, the face on Mars, and because it was a low definition image of a sort of a mountain, it sort of pattern recognition that we have, that we look for faces, don't we? We look for recognizable shapes.
Yeah,
it's like something when you're a baby, right? You have to be able to recognize faces of your mother and your parents. And and of course now it's been updated. It looks nothing like a face. We've got HD pictures. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at that thing from a different angle, it's probably not going to look like a face. So it was just a good angle that they got that thing on. There's another one that cropped up.
Cool, yeah.
There was another one that cropped up recently where it was showing like almost like a perfect square. It was in some rock formation somewhere, but I mean, it's a photo. It's not like the photo isn't entirely clear, and there's just nothing you can really go on, unfortunately. But what do you think? Going back to the Fermi paradox, sorry, briefly. What do you think about that? I mean, obviously, given that the universe is so big, and given the fact that sort of life is probably very spread out, and we don't really have particularly advanced instruments yet, really. Like, it doesn't seem like a strange thing to me that we haven't detected aliens yet, despite the numbers, the vastness of the universe indicating that highly likely there are other civilizations. It doesn't seem odd to me. Like, I mean, why would we? Unless they're in the solar system, unless they're in the solar system or the local area around the solar system, we're going to have a lot of trouble seeing any of these things, really.
Well, this is where my sort of, shall we say, my Christian sort of thing comes in. A little trump card, because I would say to you that we have been contacting interdimensional sort of civilized life for thousands of years. So that would be my distinction, is that we have been using, there has been contact with things, right, with life, but not as we know it, not physical life that science would recognize, but with extra-dimensional beings. And that, I mean, that's what I would say. I mean, that's why I think that's part of the thing with the Christianity, is that it's like they're aware that there are other things out there. But if you want to just talk about technological based life, well, just the fact that we haven't contacted. I mean, initially my thoughts, do you remember the New Age? They would always say the Earth is in quarantine, and this was something that C.S. Lewis, as a Christian writer, sort of said. He sort of said, because the Earth isn't civilized, it's under the thrall of a dark power, that we're in quarantine and to talk to us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know too much about that. I've heard a little bit about it.
But at the same time, I mean, there's just because that there's life out there, it just cannot communicate with us. In our region, we actually live in a region space called a dark zone. We live in what Douglas Adams called the unfashionable western arm of the Milky Way galaxy, but we do live in an area of absolute relative darkness around us. So we are in the sticks, and we're in the sort of dodgy suburbs of this galaxy. So I think we maybe, just look at the behavior. I mean, if you were living in the center of the solar system, for instance, you know what I mean? With you can imagine the Milky Way and how much concentrated they are closer to the center. We probably live in an area where there's not a lot going on. It's just a dodgy neighborhood.
Well, yeah, this is what I was saying. I mean, in terms of the interdimensional stuff, yeah, I mean that's a slightly different approach, isn't it? But I think with the Fermi paradox, it's like it's the idea of something within our dimension that's visible in some recorded way. And I think that as the telescopes get better and better, we'll start to discover these things. I mean, I'm still looking forward to the day we discover something like some fossils on Mars or something. That's going to be fucking interesting. Imagine they dig up a couple of fossils.
Would we hear about it?
That's exactly what I was going to go on to say. Unfortunately, there's a high chance that if they did find something, or if they've already found something, we ain't going to know about it. Although, to be fair, I suppose in the last couple of years, you can say that in terms of disclosure of information about aliens, UFOs, etc., things have become a lot more transparent or a lot more open than they were when I was growing up anyway. All these things that were sort of conspirational type theories are now sort of being put forward as well. We know we've collected craft. We know that we believe that there are other species of life out there. We don't have any direct evidence, blah, blah, blah. So, this is the first time that, we're seeing these things come out. So just extrapolate that out over the next sort of 20, 30 years. Maybe we'll start to know something. And maybe it'll be like Mars attacks. Maybe they'll pop in at some point and we'll have like a Mars attacks type scenario where we're trying to like kill them off with old 60s music because they can't stand the sound of it in their ears and their heads explode. Have you seen Mars attacks?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. It was much better than Independence Day. Those two movies were released at the same time, weren't they? And Independence Day was just stupid and ridiculous and idiotic. I hate that. I mean, I hate the idea that somehow you can create PC Windows virus or something, and it will. The aliens use Windows as well, so your virus. It's so stupid. It's unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? They create a virus. I was going to say
I was going to say in terms of wrapping up. I mean, we're on 1 hour 45. Did you want to do to the 2 hours and then call it quits?
Let's do it then. Yeah, great. Yeah,
so we just be good doing a solid 2 hours kind of thing. Yeah. Do you know what? I quite liked Independence Day, but I was like a little kid at the time, and I don't know. It was just a fun movie, and I liked Will Smith at the time, and Aliens was my thing, and so. It was all quite like the computer graphics for the time as well was like pretty decent and stuff, So it was all right. But no, you are right. Mars Attacks is the better movie for sure.
It is overall a better movie, it takes itself. Well, obviously, it takes itself less seriously, but in a way, it makes more sense with Independence Day. Out of it, that should make more sense. It's like there's no like big cognitive dissonance that you're going to get,
Yeah. No, that's true. So, I mean, what's your favorite alien movies though? Like, what would you say? What was your sort of favorite alien-related movie? It may even for me have to be Alien. Sigourney Weaver. I have a soft spot for Sigourney Weaver.
That's such a just amazing movie, Alien. I mean,
the original one. Especially.
I mean, I mean, it's so dark though, isn't it? It's like it's a horror movie. It's Alien. It's a horror movie, but it's so clever and it's so brilliant. It's just so brilliant. I don't watch it because I can't watch it again. Do you know what I mean? It's just dark. It's really nasty. I preferred Aliens 2 because it's more fun. It's like the difference between Terminator 2, isn't it? Terminator 1 was an 18, was a proper kind of like not a video nasty, but it was an 18. It was like a movie kids can watch. But then Terminator 2 came out, and suddenly kids are into Terminator, and it was a fun movie. And like Aliens is almost a fun movie, isn't it? I just like a little bit of I like something of humor and something to alleviate the horror, because I just think Too much horror.
I'll tell you one that I
But
liked.
my favorite.
Go on. Sorry, go for it.
Well, I was just saying my favorite. Really, I like that Tom Cruise one. It's that one where he's Tom Cruise, and it turns out it's a little bit like Independence Day, isn't it? In the end, spoilers. They fly to the what do they call it? Not the tetragrammaton. The Tom Cruise one where he's
What's
got
the
the edge
movie
of
called?
tomorrow. Just trying to think. It's the one where he's kind of like scouting around on Earth. It's been ravaged by.
Edge of Tomorrow, did you say?
Is it the Edge of? I don't think it's the Edge of Tomorrow, man. I can't quite remember what it is. No, it's. I'll tell you what. I'll say. Okay, let's go Interstellar. I can remember what it's called. Have you seen Interstellar?
Interstellar, yeah. I watched it a couple of times, yeah.
Now, at the end is amazing because at the end he goes to 4-dimensional reality. Do you remember the ending?
Yeah, vaguely, yeah. I remember with the
Yeah,
library.
and it turns out he's in what they call a tesseract, a 4-dimensional hypersphere, and that's something that I wrote about. And every side of a 4-dimensional hypercube. Every side of a hypercube is a 3-dimensional shape. So that's 4D. You know, we talk about 4D. So the 4D realm.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember the hypersphere being the first thing I had trouble with. Anyway, go on. Sorry, I was just saying how much trouble I used to have with the idea of a hypersphere. But anyway, yeah, go on. Sorry.
So I love the ending because it's like, yes, that's what I think is the the 4-dimensional next world, the authentic reality. And when you're like dreaming and stuff, you enter this 4-dimensional space where every side of it is a different 3-dimensional experience. Because when you dream, right, you're in 3 dimensions, aren't you? You actually are interacting with the 3D reality of whatever it might be time.
Well, I think it's kind of a dissonance, isn't it? You have a kind of dissonance when you dream a lot of the time because perhaps you are sort of venturing in some ways in between 3 and 4 dimensions. Because obviously there must be a fourth. There's got to be a sort of higher dimensional element to dreaming because of the way that dreams, just the way they operate, the way they're kind of non-physical, obviously, but there's physical elements to it. But also, it's almost like what was going to? How do I phrase this? So, like things. I say it's non-physical, but you can still end up feeling pain in dreams and things like this. I remember one time I had. It's kind of like but I never have nightmares. I usually have like normal dreams. I say normal dreams, like just they're still crazy sci-fi movie type things all the time. But broadly speaking, like, I won't have like bad dreams, like nightmares or like horrible situations and stuff. But yeah, I did have one time, and like it was very brief. I woke up. It was after a bit of binging, so it was one of those kind of like where I binged a bit too much, and then I was having trouble sleeping. And, you sort of end up having kind of like sort of sleep, kind of like bad dreams, bad sleep. So anyway, in this very brief dream, I'd woken, in the dream, I had woken up on a bed, and then there was just like a guy with a baseball bat who was coming to hit me as I lied on the bed. And he hit me a couple of times, and I felt the pain. And as I felt it, I woke up, and I saw or felt really that my back, where I was sort of being hit in the dream with the baseball bat, it was kind of bubbling. I think it was maybe the nerves or something. So something something can trigger in the nerves to give you pain. Amazing. To correspond with the dream you're having. I had it before one time when I was a little kid, actually. I had a dream where I was outside my old house where I grew up, and randomly a wild boar, like a pig, a wild boar, started running towards me and took a bite out of my stomach. Sounds pretty horrible.
That's a dream, right?
I felt the pain, and I felt the pain, and I woke up, and I woke up like kind of clutching my side, thinking, and then the pain went away. It was kind of, something can happen that, I don't know, I guess kind of enlivens the nerves that would ordinarily be there to give you the feeling of pain if you were being hit, sort of thing, but without being hit, if that makes sense. It's weird.
Well, all the pain is felt, isn't it? It's in your mind, isn't it? I mean, that's how things like painkillers and anesthetic work, by disconnecting your mind from this. But in dreaming, like in theory, your body is a mobile. You're not moving. Your body is not mobile in 3D, but your mind is mobile in 4D. And so you travel through the dream space. And I think that's why you get things like people like sleepwalking. Right? I mean, this is even a friend of mine actually once he slept walked out of his house down the road into town. He took money out of his bank account using his debit card, and he was stopped by the police who happened to see him. And he was sleepwalking. He was half conscious. He was unconscious, but he made it to town. It was about 10-minute walk from his house. He went to the cash, he took money out, came home, and and the police apparently took him home and said they found him sleepwalking, taking money out of his bank account. Absolutely. But in his case, his 4-dimensional self perhaps was not fully disconnected from his 3-dimensional self. It's just amazing stuff.
Yeah,
so can be some crossover. Yeah.
The weirdest one, and we've had this conversation before about lucid dreaming. I don't think you really have many or any. I'm not sure. You can maybe correct me on that, but I have quite a few lucid dreams for whatever reason. I talk to people about it, and people have never even had one before. I do wonder if that's when you're more fully 4D at that point, and suddenly everything is. There's honestly, if you lucid dream, anyone listening who's lucid dreamt will know as well. There is nothing between a lucid dream and wakeful reality. There's no difference.
Wow.
There's no difference to the feeling. There's no difference to when it happens. It's strange. And I have a little system where I just kind of I put my fingers. I sort of hit my hand with 2 fingers just to make sure I'm dreaming or whatever.
Some people look at their feet, don't they? They do this, and if they can't see their feet, because I don't think you can see your feet if you're dreaming. I don't know. I've heard that. But.
Yeah, I guess generally you do. Well, I suppose also with dreaming, it's kind of almost like a video game in the sense of you feel like you're moving forward in the video game, but obviously you're just staying in the same place. So I get that a bit with dreaming. I get almost like the fact that it's almost like you're sort of half involved and half watching it at the same time. Because there's an element of watching a dream, but there's also an element of being involved in the dream. But they're always quite... there's always like a certain percent of one, a certain percent of the other. And I think with lucid dreaming, you're 100% you're actually in the dream. And it kind of that makes me think, if death, for example, is supposed to be like dreaming, like the Native Indians thought, Native Americans thought. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're lucid dreaming, does that mean you're sort of like closer to death in a way? I don't know. It's a strange one. Is that kind of?
I think so. I think you're in the 4D realm. I agree. I think so.
That's what I would kind of naturally conclude that, really, given what I think of lucid dreaming, which may be completely wrong, but, I do agree with what you're saying about, I remember us talking about this when you were saying about, you can be in 2 different dimensions at once. If you look at a cube, for example, it's got 2D sides, but it's a 3D object. Those sides are in both 2D and 3D. So just the same as that, you're in 3D in your bed, lying in bed, sleeping, yet you're also partly in 4D experiencing the dream.
Well, that's also when we get coincidences, or when we get intuitions, or when we get that feeling, or whatever it might be, because everyone has that experience. You know what I mean? That sort of, as we call that transcendental thing, that moment of, I mean, recently I watched this video of this pilot, and he was about to take off his plane, and he just stopped and he made an announcement, and he says, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your pilot here. I'm just not feeling this today. There's something wrong with the fuel pump or something. They said it was fine, but for me, I think there's something wrong with it. And you've got many years of experience of a pilot, and I'm telling you today, I just don't feel we're going to be 6 hours over the ocean. And I'm not feeling the safety of this aircraft. I just don't have no full confidence. So I'm going to ground the plane, and this is the end of. We're not going anywhere. So I'm just and I thought, yeah, that guy's listening to 4D, and you know what I mean. That's amazing. And I think we do operate in that 4D, and it may be the moments when we listen to whatever you might call it, right? Intuition, or that little gut instinct, or you may be able to pray or whatever. You may have that you just, that's 4D, and we always are operating in that. But we're being driven to 3D life, aren't we? The corporate consumer, the unit, the economic unit that they want us to be, you know.
Well, it kind of goes back to the Jinjitsu Sosa from before, the reality manipulation. It's kind of like, you know, we do have an ability, or at least some small sliver of an ability to somehow kind of like mold at least our local world as such, our like local lives. And yeah, what is that? What are you tapping into to be able to do that? And yeah, is that just the ability? Some people who are better at it just have a better sort of like connection or ability to tap into sort of 4-dimensional kind of parameters and stuff that you can use. So yeah, it's interesting, man. I guess we've got to wrap up in a couple of minutes. So I'd probably have to go soon, to be honest.
Yeah. So I'm gonna play the theme song, and yeah, we'll say good night to
yeah, man, it's been a good one
everywhere out there. Anyway, so yeah, one or two who may be listening to this, but you know, hopefully we'll. There's little acorns in it. You know what I mean? We got to start somewhere. So
yeah. Well, let me know if you want to do anything with the audio anyway later, sort of thing, to do with like the stuff at the beginning. I mean. It was much more consistent. It's much better with you just doing it through the laptop.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I wonder about that. If I'll get my better laptop, and I think it'll be better. I think my laptop it's a great laptop. It's one of them it's one of the X1 carbon ThinkPads from Lenovo, but it's rather old. And I thought I was getting a bargain, but I love it because it's really light. It like weighs about 700 grams. It's just so light and awesome, and it's like you throw it out the window. But yeah, it obviously it's just not able to quite drive my my microphone. So I'll get my better laptop, and we hopefully won't have that. But do you think you can do something with the sound? What can you do with the sound your end? I'll put this on my website, but.
I'll maybe just be able to sort of turn up the bits that were quieter, basically.
Yeah.
It depends if they were too quiet or just too muffled. If they're too muffled, I'd just be turning up more muffledness. But if it was just a dip in volume, because maybe you were too far away at that second or whatever, then that can just be turned back up. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll have a little listen back, see if you want to do anything, and just let me know.
Yeah. So it's gone out on YouTube. It's gone out on X. I'm going to put this. I'll put the improved version in a few days up on our Truth Shock. We've got a website called truthshock.com that's just in its infancy.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll play the theme song, and hang on, when I found out how to, yeah, I'm about ready to. So I'll mute us. And is there anything you'd like to say before we end the show, there, Future Shock?
Only just like it's been a fun one. Yeah, definitely do this again at some point soon. And yeah, like I find it quite funny that we were talking about doing it before, like, right, we need to have these 3 topics, we need to have these 6 topics, whatever. And then at the end of the day, we've just been riffing anyway, and the things just come out naturally anyway. So yeah, to people who will be listening or will tuning in, hope you guys enjoyed it, and obviously we'll be back with more of this at some point soon.
Hopefully not too long, because I think we're doing all right. I think it's pretty good. It's interesting to me, at least, anyway. So I mean, you know,
yeah, definitely. It's like, listen, this is stuff that I don't get to talk to. You know, I don't know about you, but I don't really get to talk to people about this kind of thing regularly. You know, you can try a bit with some people at work, and that's not me trying to have a go at people, but it's just like a lot of the time people aren't really that interested, or they haven't devoted the time really, or they don't have the time to devote to learning about this kind of stuff. And, you know, it all seems maybe a bit conspiracy, still got the bit of the tarred with a bit of the conspiracy brush and all that kind of thing. So, or at least some of the things that we talk about anyway. So yeah, no, it's just interesting. I definitely think if we had more time, so I don't really have any more time, unfortunately, but like, I'm sure we could do this for another couple of hours, but thanks for setting it up on StreamYard and stuff. I know like technology can be a bit of a bitch sometimes. So
no, I'm quite happy. I feel like I've achieved something today. I got X.com. I've got my blue check mark pending. and I've paid for the premium so I can stream this. I've started a new YouTube channel, so it's all good. I've got some more websites going on, so this is what I want to be doing. So yeah, thanks to you, Future Shock.
no worries.
You've motivated me to pull my finger out. So thank you. Yeah, cheers.
All good, man. All right, so yeah, I guess we'll end it there then, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon about, and we'll put up on the. I guess we'll put up maybe on X or on your website when the next one's going to be, so anybody who's interested
yeah, that's it. Exactly. And I'll put a link to my X and to the YouTube on my website, which might drive a bit of traffic. And maybe next time I'll have a few more people. I haven't looked, but yeah, I mean, I haven't got any expectations are low, but then if you set them low, you can only be, happy when something happens. I mean, you're not disappointed.
And also, realistically, I mean, like the first one will probably not get that many views, but it's just a case of like building it up, isn't it? And I think we've got a decent base to build from. So yeah, let's do it.
All right, mate. Okay, well, I'll say goodbye for now, and we will meet again in cyberspace, no doubt, not before too long. And I'll just end with the theme tune and wish you all the best, Future Shock.
Cheers, man.
Cheerio.
You too.